Hey guys, Chris Superfast RC. Today I'm going to be giving you my review of the Losi 8 1A scale gas buggy. This car is no longer in production. They discontinued it about the end of 2015, November, October, December. And from what I can tell, the reason it was discontinued seems to be that it was kind of a half-baked product. It wasn't all there. The ignition system, not on mine, but on what I've read, the ignition system tends to fail out after about 10-20 runs. So I think that's why they discontinued it. The motor itself runs good. I mean, I had no trouble getting the motor tuned at all, but it seems to die out at random a lot. Like, you can have this thing running, it be purring completely normally, and all of a sudden it just dies. It's very odd. So, you know, I'm not kind of speculating on why that might be why they discontinued it. But as of this time, you cannot purchase this car from Horizon Hobby any longer. So this review is going to be more of if Losi or Horizon decides to re-release this car, like in a gas 2.0 or something, what they should improve on, you know, just to make sure that the car is going to run better and they're going to sell better. Another thing I'm going to talk about is pricing, and when these guys were, you know, new to the market and weren't on fire sale, I got this one on fire sale for about $299. So they were retailing around $649, I think, or $699. So up there in the, you know, almost fifth scale territory. So borderline fifth scale anyways. So what is this car? What did they try to do here? I think they tried to, you know, create a new section in A scale, you know, kind of merge fifth scale and A scale and bring gas power to A scale. Well, there's a couple problems with that. One of them is nitro. This motor does not perform as well as a comparable nitro motor. It just doesn't. It's large, it's heavy, very, very heavy compared to a nitro. You've got, you know, extra stuff, spark plug, ignition, and you know, on a nitro, all you have is your glow plug, and your, you know, everything is much smaller, displacement smaller as well. You know, then problem number two is going to be brushless. I mean, I hate to say it, but brushless really killed, I think, this category. You know, I think they're late to the game with this car. I really do. Why would you buy a $600 gas car when you can buy a $600 electric car and have the car be more reliable, more durable, faster, easier to upkeep, easier to clean? That's another thing about this thing. Cleaning it is a total nightmare. You know, no tuning, no break-in period. It's just no brainer. You don't have to go buy gas, you buy battery ones. I mean, yes, going to the gas station to buy the gas is easier than, you know, having to buy nitro. But that said, you have to buy 93, 91, you know, Supreme grade fuel for it anyways. But yeah, I did do that. They only give you one bottle, or I think it's 2 bottles of 2-cycle oil, which is enough to do 1 tank. I haven't even gone through the first tank yet. I mean, my first, you know, gas can. But man, you know, this car really could have been really awesome. I mean, I don't know what I was I mean, I guess it did beat my expectations. It is fast. I mean, it gets up and goes, but I just don't think there's a market for this, especially the way this one is. You know, I think it's kind of first generation. There's some bugs, you know, and I think that's why they pulled it from the market. But let's go ahead and get on with the review and, you know, just do the normal stuff. So the body's pretty cool. You know, this color scheme is only 1 color body, which is kind of odd for an RC car. You know, usually you have at least 4 choices of colors, but no, just this one blue and yellow paint scheme here from Losi. And then you have your air filters. Already mine's dirty as all get out. Air filter servos, they're adequate. You know, they're not the worst RTR servos I've had, but they could use a little bit more torque, especially the steering, but it's okay. And you've got that AVC in there. You know, I'm kind of mixed on AVC on a 4-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive in this case, but On two-wheel drive, I think it's great. And I'm thinking about pulling this RX out of here and sticking it in a two-wheel drive just before the the igniter box has a chance to fry it. So I don't have an ABC or a TSM, gyro assisted radio system. This is my only one so far. You have your two-stroke gas tank, yeah. This is kind of hard to get off, but you want to make sure you keep it tight, and the little gasket in there, make sure you press it towards the top of the gas cap, or else it's going to leak gas and oil all over the place in your car. It's going to be an absolute wreck. I learned that the hard way, but make sure it's snug down good. You got your gas 0.31 displacement gas 2-cycle motor, tune pipe over here. It's on the starter box here, which is also included in the package, so you get a starter box. That's cool. But you got your tune pipe here, and this is the blue smoke hole. Yeah, this thing smokes like no other, and it stinks like no other. It's like a weed eater that's running really rich, or a chainsaw, and it's also very loud. But that's neither here nor there. With the gas car, you're going to expect that. Other than the engine and power components of this car, it's the Losi 8ight 3.0 platform, which is a great platform. This buggy handles really well. No durability issues that I had. I ran this thing I think 14 times. Didn't make it to the end of the break-in. That's because I just don't trust this power system not to fry the radio, which I kind of want to move to a different car. So I don't know if I'll run it again like this. It might be converted to brushless, but I'm just not sure at this point, because there are a lot of things that Losi actually cut costs on versus the full race kit on the 8. Things like the shock towers here, they are single pressed pieces. They're not machined, and they're anodized black, but I mean they're pressed, so you hit something real hard, they're gonna bend easier than the anodized machine part would. And here again on the back, you got pressed aluminum. Here on your these actually look like they're the anodized pieces. They still look like they might be pressed, but back here the suspension pin holders, they're not very thick, even though they look like they might be machined. No, they look pressed to me. Yeah, they're just pressed pieces, just anodized different colors. But they also have plastic hinge pin keepers on them. Same deal up front. Yep, pressed aluminum everywhere throughout this kit. No machined parts, and the chassis once again is pressed, aluminum. So it's anodized black, starting to wear off here in the rear, but it's not the full race quality chassis. So yeah, they did cut some costs there, and I'm not okay with that, especially if they're charging $650, $700 for this car. You should get the top of the line race parts. I mean, you just should. Another thing I don't like about what Losi does is they use all standard Imperial hardware, and it's fine, but if you're into Associated, Traxxas, basically everybody else except Losi, they're all using metric hardware, and you stick your standard metric driver set in there and it's not going to fit right, so you're going to end up stripping out screws. Thankfully I haven't had to do that work on this car much. Everything seemed to come pretty tight, with the exception of the drive cup. I did have one spin loose on me, but just tighten that back up with, put some thread lock on it. It's all good. Haven't had to open the receiver box. Shocks, they're fantastic. They've got these like different type of progressive springs, I guess. They're kind of like big in the middle of the spring here, but they get smaller towards the top. 16mm big bore shocks. They're smooth, they're butter. No problems with suspension, no problems with breakages once again, but I didn't really push this car like I would a brushless buggy, because I didn't, want to stress the power system, blow the engine or anything like that, so everything's still running here. Another thing I wanted to mention, just the fact that this is not protected here, this flywheel. I got a rock stuck in there, and it, of course shut it off right away, and I was wondering, well, I thought it died, because this thing likes to die, but, what was that? Oh, never mind. But yeah, a rock got wedged in there and just killed it, so I thought at first I was like, no, it just died again. No, it actually got stuck in there, so that might be a thing to all nitros. You know, I'm not a big nitro guy, so this is really my first gas vehicle. Never had a nitro, but you know, drivetrain rolls smooth. Everything's good with that. Main thing I just want to say about this thing. Oh, another thing I want to mention. Okay, so they give you a LiPo receiver pack, which is awesome, really good. You know, get you a couple runs out of this, no problem. But the amount of space they give you for it is just appalling. They give you this little tiny, I'm going to show you how to put it in here, but they give you this little tiny little area here right next to the igniter box. I think if they, you know, if they are going to revise the platform, they can make the igniter box smaller so they can get a bigger area for your receiver pack here. It's just nearly impossible to get in there. You got too much wire on the battery, too much wire in the receiver box. You almost have to pinch the wires, and actually my wires are cut right here, so you know, it is what it is, but I think Losi could have given us a much better, bigger battery box, you know, for what you're paying for this car. So yeah, that was kind of aggravating, but you know, other than that, I mean, it runs, it's fast, it's good, you know, for what it is, it's good. I don't think it's worth what they're originally charging for it. I just don't. I think you'd be disappointed if you bought it for that price. But in the end, you know, they did fire sale it. I think it's worth the $200-300 you pay for this thing on fire sale. But like I said, there's inherent problems with the power system. You know, it's not perfect. I mean, it's cool. It's an awesome concept, but I think it's, you know, about 10 years too late. This should have came out in 2005, right around that time where you had, you know, nitro, you know, T-Maxes were selling like crazy, you know, nitro buggies were selling like crazy, truggies were selling like crazy. Right before the big brushless, you know, Castle Creations and Novak Tekin came out with all their brushless stuff, and you know, really set the world on fire. You know, A-scale brushless and the power that those things produce is just insane. But this, you know, it slots in somewhere between well, I want to say brushed power and nitro power, because brushless is on that next level. But you know, this engine, it's a performer and it gets going, but it just doesn't have the torque. Just doesn't have the top speed the brushless car would. So I think really if you're gonna go with this car or a brushless car, I think all day go brushless, you know. Losi 8, you know, 3.0 or now 4.0 kit, you know, $399, buy it, drop a Tekin T8 in there, you know, RX8, you're out the door for $750, you're gonna have a much better car, much better car. You know, and you can even get, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you really can with brushless. But this is, you know, it was a cool idea, I think, but I just don't think they followed through, you know, in certain areas here. You know, the testing could have been better. Like I said, lots of people have reported their receiver, their igniter box frying their receiver, you know, not starting, giving all sorts of trouble. And you know, like I said, I'm not to that point yet, but I just wanted to let you know that, you know, I did run this car. I ran it 14 times. You know, didn't have many problems with it at all. Tuning went great. You know, everything went by the book. So I don't know. It might just not be for me, and that might just be the thing here. But as a car, the chassis is great. I mean, this thing handles very well. No complaints. The radio system, no complaints. This is one of the best RTR radios I've ever had. You know, it's simple, basic, you know, only, you know, analog controls, but, you know, triggers feels good, steering wheel is a little cheap, but the grip feels great. You know, it's better than some of my Aerotronics. It's got lots of cushion on it, so I like the radio a lot. You know, yeah, it's Spectrum, but who cares? On an RTR, you can't ask for anything better than this. So it's also got that AVC built in, so you know, you're a new driver. I felt it kind of, it felt kind of like the car was drunk with the AVC on max, and you come around a corner and the car just wouldn't do what you want it to do. You know, I'm used to no AVC, no controls. You know, I'd try and throw it in a corner and it just would, you know, just start pushing. It wouldn't slide. It couldn't kick the rear end. It almost pushed through the corner instead of, you know, drift or slide, power slide, whatever I wanted to do. But I don't know. You put it about halfway, it gives you just that right amount of slip, and it works. It works out. But like I said, on a four-wheel drive, I'm not sure about the AVC aspect of it. On a two-wheel drive, it's awesome. You know, it keeps your tires from doing donuts on command. keeps you going straight. But on 4-wheel drive, I don't think it's really needed. I really don't. But it's nice that they included it nonetheless. So they also include a starter box. Basic thing, comes with 2 Molex. You have to cut them off, put leans on there so you can run a lipo. Other than that, you know, it works. No complaints. But at the end of the day, would I buy this again? Probably not. I would really go almost, I hate to say this, but with something from Hobby King, you know, like a Losi 8ight, you know, just something, I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It was a cool experiment. I have nothing against it just being an experimental thing, but you know, it's hard to run it in dirt because loose dirt, the oil that comes out of the exhaust plasters the entire side of the car, so you have to clean it up. But anyways, guys, if Losi does decide to release another version of this, they need to improve on the power system. The car's great. Like I said, I do nitpick on the pressed aluminum bits, but they're okay. They don't look bent to me. Of course, I really didn't bash this thing hard, but end of the day, I wouldn't buy it again. Definitely if they come back at that price point where this thing was for the longest time, you know, $700, $600. But if they do release it, I think they should release it around $399, $425, $450-ish. And then I think it'll sell pretty good. But I think the prices they had it at just weren't working out. The electronics just weren't working out. And it just didn't sell well. And they had to get rid of them. So, alright guys, Chris Superfast RC, and subscribe for more videos like this. Don't have anything directly coming down the pipe, but you know. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do. This thing's cool, I guess. Alright, bye bye.